Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Saturday's video. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. The video that went up on Halloween was me unboxing and first impression of the Halloween 2 collection. I got the PR set. I did order the Trick or Treat, the full collection, but I got it without the PR box. So that is coming, and then if there's any items in there that I feel like they're similar shades to existing, like there's a blush duo in there, I will swatch some things in that video. But yeah, this is just going to be comparing eyeshadows, looking at, I did a little sneak peek in that video with the highlighters. We will talk about that a little bit again, that way if you didn't see that video. And yeah, make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and let's jump in. I'm going to clean the swatches off in my last video. That way, again, if you didn't see the video, we'll look at the highlighter. I'm not going to talk about the lip kit, again, just because I didn't buy the Scream one. So these items are pretty, at least the lipstick. I'm sure I have a lipstick shade that is similar to this because I have a fair amount, but I'm not going to be talking about the lip products from the Halloween 2. But let's start off with the mirror. So the one that you get in the PR box, and I have seen the knife one, so I don't know if they're selling that one too, because I know they looked at that one and people said that it needed to be bigger. So it's his face, and then the handle looks like a knife. The other mirror, the drawer open. I don't have all the mirrors, like I don't have the Nightmare on Elm Street or the Friday the 13th. I did buy the ghost face, so you can see pretty much the same size. Again, you've got the knife handle, butcher knife versus the like hunting knife. So pretty close to the same size. I don't really use hand mirrors, so these eventually will go on a shelf, but that's why I don't have all of them, because I don't like to hold things in my hand when I'm doing makeup and eyeshadow. I have a standing mirror that I use, so these are just like novelty items for me. And then we'll look at the bags. So here's the bag from the Ghost Face collection. It's ginormous. They had intended this to be like a makeup bag slash purse. This to me is too big. Like, and I'm somebody that travels with a lot of makeup and skincare. Like, this is too big for a makeup bag. It's ginormous. So it's the same shape with the Halloween bag, but it is smaller. So like this one you could use makeup, skincare, or a purse. This is too big. So yeah, side comparisons here. Yeah, it's huge. So I think they did a much better job scaling this one down a little bit, because yeah, this one I feel like is a little bit much. Now, I probably will not use either one of these ever. Like I said, this one's just too big. It could be a purse, but then you gotta like set it down to open it. I don't know. I did put the strap on the back of this one, but these, again, realistically, will probably be items that would sit on a shelf. So I'm not really gonna ever use them for their intended purpose, which is fine, but just be aware. I think this size is better. Okay, let's re-swatch the highlighter. She made an actual like orangey gold highlighter. She was in between like a orange, which I think would have turned into a blush lighter, because looking at samples, it looked like it would have been too dark to be an actual like highlighter. So I'm glad they combined that with the icy white to make this like orangey gold. And if you watched my other video, so there's the highlighter. It is almost the exact same shade. Now the Jeffree Star one can come out a little bit different, because this is marbled if you stay more in the lighter bit or like this darker bit, but again, it's an orangey gold. These are the only two like orangey highlighters I have. Different formula, but very similar tones. So I'm super happy to have another one, because, and I never stopped using Jeffree Star products. I've always been pretty open about my opinions on choices that he's made, his personality in the past. But this was a limited edition, like mystery box exclusive. So unless you bought it on like Poshmark or eBay, not many people had this. So I always felt bad using it on my channel, so it's nice to have an option that's more accessible. And then the other thing that comes close is I bought the Jack-o'-lantern highlighting blush. So it's a blush lighter from Black Moon. Last year it came with an orange lip gloss. And this, super small, but you can see, and from the, and I don't know for sure because I don't work at Glamlite, but from looking at the samples, it looked like their orange highlighter that they were looking at would have been more like this, which would be considered like a blush lighter because it's darker. But this is really pretty and very orange. So there is that, again, from Black Moon. And they did bring these back so you can still get it. I don't know if they have the duo still with the lip gloss, but I'm pretty sure they had an orange one, a purpley one, and a red one last year. So I did see the pumpkin one floating around, so I think they brought those collections back. So again, and this is again a pretty blush topper, but yeah, that would not work as a highlighter, at least not on my skin tone. Now, Glamlite is owned by a Hispanic lady, so like that probably could have worked as maybe more of a highlighter on her skin tone or someone that's a little bit darker, but I'm glad they went with a lighter option just because it's more wearable for lighter skin tones, because Glamlite products do tend to run a little bit on the darker side just because they're ethnically owned brand, which I get. Why would you make products that you yourself can't wear? So no shade there, but it's nice to have something that's a little bit more of an actual highlighter that's orange, because we don't need another silver icy highlighter at all. So I have the Ghost Face blush. Where are the Ghost Face highlighters? Because another question I had was, there's two shades in the Ghost Face. There's more of an icy highlighter, which I'm glad they didn't do one in the Halloween too, and more of a champagne. And then I picked up the Good Guy Friends Till the End. So I'm curious how this compares to the icy one. So here's the, ooh, that's super flaky. Didn't realize that. I've never swatched it. So there's the Friends Till the End. And then we'll do the Ghost Face. Okay, so those are different. There's the icy, that's got kind of a pinky shift. Let me see, because I think I have my Mars melters. I didn't pull those out because I forgot. I've got one of my Mars melter highlighters. Let's see, is this, yeah, this is the pinkier one. This is from Kaleidos. This is going to be similar, I think, yeah, to the Ghost Face. So a little more of a pinky toned highlighter. And then the champagne one, I don't think is going to be very similar. Let me get a dry finger in here. So the one from the Good Guys collection is definitely a little more yellow toned, micro shimmer. Let me swatch it next to my Kaleidos. Can't remember what it's called, but I do have a gold one. Let me go grab that. I got out Solar Sailor from Kaleidos, which has more of a yellow gold undertone. So yeah, from Kaleidos. Not as much micro shimmer, but again, if you had the Kaleidos ones, wouldn't necessarily need like this. And then, like I said, I was curious how it compared to the two in here. So it is different from that, but very similar tone to Kaleidos ones. Kaleidos tends to be what I compare a lot of highlighters to, just because I have all of their original ones. I don't have their multi-chrome ones just because they're expensive, but I do have all of their other ones. I think I've only ever decluttered one, and it was because it, like, there was no color to it. And then the other one that has a lot of micro shimmer from Kaleidos is the Diamond Dasher. This one's more of a peachy, pinky color. Let's see. Different color, but it definitely would give you more of the micro shimmer. So there are those. And then I want to look at the blue ones because I'm curious how the Friday the 13th highlighter compares to the Rick and Morty. And then I think they're gonna be similar to these two from Kaleidos. So let's look here, and then we'll get into blushes. Okay, so Friday the 13th, again, I hate the packaging of this. Let's put all the blushes together. Okay, so the Friday the 13th one looks white. It's got a blue shift. Okay, so there it is right there. Okay, and then I'm pretty sure the Rick and Morty trio has like the pinky, there's a pinky one in here. There's a blue one and a purpley one. Let's look at the blue. Again, this one's much more flaky and a lighter blue. So you got a lighter blue. Definitely like the Rick and Morty one better. Look at that. Wow. Okay, so there's those two. And then if you were to compare, let's see, we've got Skywalker, which is going to be very close to the Camp Crystal Lake, maybe closer to Rick and Morty. And then we've got Moon Cruiser. So if you had the blue ones from Kaleidos, don't necessarily need them, but that is super. That's from the Rick and Morty highlight collection. Super wet looking. That one I think is my favorite. That Rick and Morty collection is really good. I have the palette here too. It's probably become my new favorite rainbow palette. They did a really good job with that collection. Okay, so it just depends on what you're looking for. Again, there's some comparisons just because, like I said, they've got the horror stuff on sale. I don't know if the Rick and Morty stuff counts in that, but definitely all the horror stuff is on sale. So let's look at palette. So as far as sizing, these ones are all the same. This one's a little bit bigger. So these are, what did I say? These are 12. These are 12 pan. This one I think is 15. This Kiss one's 20 shades. And then there's a couple of little like smaller 10 pan. Yeah. Okay, so the Halloween 2 palette is its own size because again, the Rick and Morty one's even bigger than that. I don't know. I mean, there is some grays in here, but I don't know. The blues to me are different. So we'll hold those up. So you got some blues at the bottom. Navy's getting washed out. Let me come back here. So a couple of blues, they're different from the Good Guy palette. I wish I had waited and picked these up. I paid, I think I had a 20% off coupon code, but they weren't as cheap as they are now. Camp Crystal Lake, you've got some grays, but again, nothing exactly. You've got a navy and a taupey gray, but they're not exactly. This one's a lighter gray, and then this blue is a little more of a true blue. This one's kind of a dingy navy. So not exactly the same. Nothing that I feel like I need to swatch. Like the Death Curse shade kind of looks like it's in between the lighter gray and the brown in here. And the one with the most grays is probably going to be this, well, no, the Ghost Face. But again, nothing that's, I'm sure the blacks are the same, but that may be it. Looks like they went a little bit lighter with the shimmers in the Halloween palette too, which is nice because, like I said, Glamlite stuff tends to run a little bit on the darker side, mid-tone. Glamlite tends to be more mid-tone. So here is the Ghost Face. So you have a lot of grays. There's probably, let's see, We look at Shadow Back from Ghost Face. So there is that. And then let's look at I Always Wear a Mask from Halloween. So the Halloween one's a little bit lighter. This one's a little bit muddier. The lighter ones don't, that's the only shade to me that really looks like it could be similar. So, and then that one that I swatched was this one out of here. So there's not a ton of crossover, which is nice because when you're dealing with these kind of like murky tones, I'm sure on the eyes, a lot of them look the same. And for the most part, you know, I buy these for the packaging, but I do like Glamlite's formula. So I am hoping that they do re-release this and it's got some reds or something in it. It's probably my least favorite palette. There are some shades out of the, I've never used the Kiss palette, but this, again, the blues don't really look similar to me. Okay. And then I didn't realize, because I never looked at them super close, that the Friday the 13th and the original Scooby-Doo Halloween palettes are all the same size. There's the green. And again, the black is should be the same black. The red's probably more used. I don't love the shimmer formula that they went with in this. It's a little different, not quite as impactful, but in the original Scooby-Doo, the green one. I got these on sale after the fact. I did not buy these when they first came out. Yeah, didn't realize that those are the same size. And then I did pull out the Rick and Morty palette. Just, again, it doesn't look exactly the same, but this, when this comes back in stock, this is a good palette, and I like having this as a companion to use with the other palettes. And then we're gonna look at blushes, because I've never actually swatched all these. I did pull out the Scooby-Doo one just because it has some shades that I feel like might be similar. And it looks like the Trick or Treat blush duo is probably gonna be about this size. So we've got the Velma and Daphne. We've got the 3 from Nightmare on Elm Street. I did get the revised duo with the 2 different shades. I'm glad they switched this and they weren't the same color like when they first came out. And then I have the Ghost Face. So let's do the red in here. We'll go right here. Okay, so there's Ghost Face, and then let's look at, I'll go down the list here. There's the red from Nightmare on Elm Street. This is like a bright red. This is a little bit more of like a darker, like blue-based red. There's this like watermelon-y shade in here. Super bright, and then we have a light shade from Nightmare on Elm Street. And again, when you're putting some of these on your face, are they going to look that different? Probably not. So do you need all these? Absolutely not. Okay, so let's look at, I've never used these. So there's Velma, which is maybe a hair brighter than the lightest shade in the Nightmare on Elm Street. And then there's Daphne's pink, which looks similar to the pink in the little Chucky blush palette. So let's do, I got this clean finger. Let's do the darker one. So that's the one out of the Chucky palette. And then I think that's a clean finger. So those 2 light pinks, that's the lighter one out of here. If you have the Scooby-Doo duo, you don't necessarily need this duo, and vice versa. And again, I've never swatched all of those, so I was also curious. And because there are two reds, like I think if you had this one, you wouldn't necessarily need to pick up the ghost face one. So I think like you could get by with like these two or these two and not necessarily have a ton of overlap. But I definitely don't think you'd need to buy all four, because I'm sure, like I said, putting them on your face, they're going to look similar. So hopefully that was helpful, because like I said, some of these are new to me. I've never swatched the stuff side by side, so I wasn't sure. You know, looking at it in the pan, it's like, oh, well, that kind of looks close. But until you swatch it out, it's really hard to say. So hopefully that is helpful. Like I said, the sale is still going on. And then if this 50% is over, there are 20% codes. I can try and link one down below if I remember. So yeah, again, hopefully it was helpful. It was helpful for me just so I know what I have and what looks the same and what doesn't. Thank you guys so much. Again, make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. And hopefully I will see you in another video. Bye, everybody.